Brian Van, sportbiketrackgear.com. Man, am I pumped. We're going to start working on my 2015 Yamaha R1 today. I just picked this thing up from K&W Cycles in Michigan. Great guys over there. I get all my bikes there. I rode it home in some flurries. Super pumped about the bike. Our first project is going to be a Graves Fender Eliminator install on this bike. Don't worry, we've got a ton of videos coming for this. We're going to open up with the Graves Fender Eliminator. When you think Yamaha and you think modifying a Yamaha, I don't know about you all, but the first thing that really comes to mind for me is Graves because of their history and experience with the brand. I mean, who knows a Yamaha better than the folks over at Graves? Let's go ahead and get the kit opened up and let's see what it's going to take. One of their strengths has always been too the instruction kits they include with their products. Now, if you remember some of the work we did last year on the FC09, very detailed instructions, high quality parts. And once again, they do not disappoint. Here is a very detailed instruction kit with this, right? Shows everything that's included, and we've got step-by-step instructions that are going to basically walk you through this entire process. I'm going to open up by disassembling. First thing we need to do is get the rear seat off the motorcycle. Okay, I'm going to start with the little passenger seat pylon. Get that off. You have to use the key to release that, of course. Now we've got the rider seat. It is held on by two Allen head screws. Just fold up the edge on the seat, and these bad boys will come right up. A big part for me of the whole hobby, riding a motorcycle, street racetrack, is wrenching on it. Something I really enjoy doing. I think it takes it to the next level when you work on your own motorcycle. Go ahead and get the seat off here. Put that to the side. And you can see right here are the three bolts that are going to hold that gaudy factory Fender kit on. Kind of looking at the wiring harness, it looks to me like they run up under this little trim closeout panel. I'm going to remove this, and this panel right here. I just want to get myself really good access. The factory turn signals on this thing, I got to tell you, are actually pretty decent looking. So I think that we may just reuse those, maybe even long term. We're certainly going to reuse them for today. You're able to do that with this kit. This has got to be about the sexiest motorcycle I've ever seen in stock trim. And once we get a couple of these mods done, we're going to do a Graves exhaust. All right, you're going to get this fender cleaned up. All kinds of great stuff coming for you. Bunch of hot bodies parts on the way, dress this thing up. And then hopefully I can do a little street riding with this. I know my son Max is pumped up, wants to get out there, jump on the back of this. His enthusiasm may fade a little bit when he sees the size of that rear seat, but I'm sure he'll still get on it anyways. And then I'm gonna get this bad boy to hopefully to the racetrack. My good friends over there at Sport Bike Track Time. Get out there on track with them and ride this thing in the environment it was really engineered for. Okay, that little closeout panel right there comes right out. As I go through this process, I'm kind of looking at, what can I eliminate? What stock pieces, are we going to be able to get rid of to shed some weight? I'm looking at the exhaust servo motor right there. That thing's going to be going adios for sure. Once we get that Graves exhaust on there, there's not going to be any need for that, so it's going to cut some nice weight. I don't don't know that you really need to pull this, but I'm just going to make myself a little more room. Okay. I've got some really good access now. Let me get us down in here. You can see the 3 bolts that are going to hold that fender on are right here. Come on a little harder, there's a little Loctite on it. Okay, once I get all 3 of these undone, we will begin to work with the wiring harness and get this factory kit off the bike. Okay, got all the fasteners out now, right? No need to show you all that. That's kind of like watching paint dry on a wall. We're going to go ahead now and do the rest of the things that we need to do to get the fender off the bike. We're going to release these wire looms from the bracket. Right here, like so. Obviously, I want to keep this. I'm not 100% sure what this is. I'm going to guess this has something to do with the traction control on the motorcycle. Got a pretty complicated system. This looks like that could be one of the sensors or controllers for that. Obviously, I want to make sure that's held firmly in place. And now we need to release these connectors right here. And the last one is right here. And once we get this all off, we'll be able to go through and repair that Graves fender eliminator. Get the signals off of this, all right, because we're going to reuse the factory signals. Get those transferred over. The only thing I don't think that's coming with us is the license plate light. I'm pretty sure that is left behind kind of in the dust. Okay, fender eliminator is off the bike. Now, we need to get our turn signals out, right? The first thing I did is I went in here and they have these clips that actually hold them in there. You see the tangs, they bite right into the turn signal here, the rubber housing. Holds them in place so they can't fall out, little safety catch. Now we need to be able to pull the wiring harness through here. We got a little closeout panel that needs to be removed. Go ahead and pop that off. And now we can get our harnesses through for the turn signals. Okay, now removing the turn signals. This is rubber, okay, this is hard plastic here, okay, and you can see there's a groove that is cut right up in here. Can you catch that, Tyler, right in there? So what I want to do is I want to grab it here and put a little pressure on it. You can see it starting to pop through there, like so, okay? And that is the easiest way to get your turn signals off. You don't want to put so much pressure that you're breaking anything, right? You'll actually see it start to release. And what you could do too is you could kind of coax it along with a screwdriver if you felt like you were putting too much pressure on it. Do not damage your stock turn signal unless you are replacing that. But considering the fact it's coming stock with LED signals, I don't know that there's really a need to do anything different. There's my guys right here at K&W Cycle, where I got my motorcycle. If you are in lower southeast Michigan, look these guys up, they do a great job. Okay, now, let's get our kit out here. Different pieces in here. All right, Graves stickers. See, we've got quite a bit of hardware here. Rubber grommet. see they've got this machined Delrin spacer. When I talked to Shane over there at Graves, he said this was one of their more involved Fender Eliminator kits because of that. Okay, just kind of taking a look at it here, you can see clearly, this is gonna fit in here like so, right? So let's have a look at our turn signals. Let's get those bad boys all fitted up. Graves kit is designed to accept these, no problem. Feed the wiring harness through the hole, and essentially your installation is just going to be a mirror image of the removal process. Once again, you want to be careful, not too much pressure here. You don't want to damage the stuff. One thing you could do is if you have a heat gun or hair dryer, you could use that, put a little heat to it. They'd be more malleable, right? And that might make it go a little easier. Also use a screwdriver here to kind of tease these in. Like so. And in it goes. And once you have that through all the way, you will then put that retainer in place. A little bit here hanging up. There we go. Clearly see that is seated all the way. Now we've got our little retainer. Push down. Locks into place. Going to repeat the process for the other side, get that turn signal in there, and when we come back, we're going to begin fitting this to the motorcycle. Okay, both signals are attached to our fender bracket. Now we need to pass the wiring harness through for each side. Turn signal. Comes with a grommet that is split down the middle. Okay, and that's going to allow us to get the wiring harnesses in the center, like so. Okay, and obviously we want this to look as clean as possible back here, so we try and route those real carefully as we're done. Now we need to get this passed through the actual fender eliminator bracket itself. You can definitely see this R1 took a little more design work and engineering than a lot of your standard fender eliminator brackets. Typically, I mean, it's a very minor project, it's a minor part, but this one, there's some more pieces attached here. This grommet, of course, this machined Delrin piece here as well, so you could get a good clean fit and look. See how I got that passed through there? These bad boys, they look pretty decent here. I can live with that. Okay, next up, got our fasteners here. Pass those through the motorcycle, like so. Okay. Gonna need a 10mm wrench as well. Get this bad boy in place. We're going to start off with the actual spacer. Okay, let's see if it holds itself up there at all. That's a snug enough fit. Looks like it would actually hold itself up there in place while we get everything going. Turn signal, harnesses, those pass through. Okay. these holes lined up, like so. All right. Using the harness here to hold that up. Pressure on the fastener with my finger. They have supplied nylock nuts, so there should be no need for any thread locker. It should be held in place perfectly. Once we get everything seated and run down, I'm going to grab myself a nut driver. Looks like you've got 4mm Allen on top. Like anything else you're installing, you know, put some even torque and pressure on these bolts. Want to get everything lined up nicely, no binding. Fastener length is perfect. You don't have a lot of additional fasteners, you know, hanging out. Just enough that it passes through that locking nut, so we're going to be good to go there. Now we're up inside here. Let's go ahead and get our wiring retainer bracket back in place. Each one of these is going to simply snap in. There were 2 Allen wrenches that were also held in place. I removed those. Personally don't have the need for those, so those are, just throw those in the spare toolbox for now. Fasteners here. Running this stuff down. We're going to have one unused connector. Remember, we are eliminating now that license plate light, so you're going to lose that. Color-coded harnesses here for the turn signals. Like so. Reusable harness holder here, locking harness holder. And then you can see I also had unhooked that sensor on the back temporarily just to gain access here to everything. Sure you get all your wires fitted up in there nicely. Lock that down, got that all tidied up. Let's get our bracket here for the passenger pylon. Put that bad boy back in place. Five millimeter Allen to snug that stuff up. Pretty close. All in all, not a bad project. I'd rate this one at, you know, half an hour, 45 minutes to do a good, clean job. And so far, what I've seen with this motorcycle, the engineering is flawless. I love the way this thing's put together. Okay. Closeout panel here. Go. Lock tabs there, get those bad boys in place. And, it's going to sit like that. pins all back in here. Like so. Okay, got that all snugged up. We got our rear seat. Sorry, our driver's seat. Just go ahead and get that slid in there. There is a tab on the front of the seat that you need to get to ride underneath this 10 right there. Got our 2 fasteners. And then we've got to put the rear seat passenger pylon back on. When we come back, we'll have a license plate on the bike, and we'll give you a look at our finished product. Okay, there you go. That is, like I said, about a half an hour, maybe 40-minute project, and it takes you from this horrible to this, which is pretty sweet. I'll straighten out my plate a little bit here, huh? You're gonna want to test your turn signals. A word to the wise with the turn signals, right? And I didn't mention it earlier, and I should have. You got to pay attention which turn signal came off of which side of the Fender Eliminator, because the connectors are different. You got a white one, you got a black one, right? Pay attention which one went to which side. That way you thread them through there properly, so you have the turn signals working on the right side. Let's go ahead and verify. That we have action in the back. Everything is good to go. Go ahead and turn that key off now. And look at how clean this install is back here. I mean, that bracket's up in there high and tight. I really dig the look here, with these signals. At the end of the day, and I don't know if you really need to order a pair of aftermarket ones. I'm gonna roll with these factory LEDs. I'm Brian Van. This is the Graves Fender Eliminator install on a 2015 Yamaha YZF-R1.